Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, the 7th chapter.
Glory to you, Lord.
After Jesus had finished all his sayings in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. A centurion there had a slave whom he highly valued, who was ill and close to death. When he heard about Jesus, he sent some Jewish elders to him, asking him to come and heal his slave. When they came to Jesus, they appealed to him earnestly, saying, "He is worthy of having you do this for him, for he loves our people, and it is he who built our synagogue for us." And Jesus went with them. But when he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him to say, "Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore I did not presume to come to you. But only speak the word, and let my servant be healed. For I also am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me, and I say to one, 'Go,' and he goes, and to another, 'Come,' and he comes, and to my slave, 'Do this,' and the slave does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd that followed him, he said, "I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith." When those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the slave in good health. The Gospel of the Lord. So if, like me, you are of a certain age, you may remember an old recurring Saturday Night Live sketch called Wayne's World. Wayne's World was this sketch that was starring Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, and they played Wayne Campbell and Garth Alger, who ran this low-budget cable show out of the basement of Wayne's parents' house. There were really lots of great clips and quotes from that sketch over the years, but one of the ones that I always remember and was somehow always stuck with me was the line that they used whenever they met somebody or interviewed somebody famous. Almost always they stood there in awe and bowed down and went, "We're not worthy! We're not worthy!" Right? It was funny. It was funny not just because of the way they said it and the way they acted it out, but because it parodied the thought that so many people have when they say, "I'm not worthy of this great honor," you know? Because sometimes when people say, "I'm not worthy," it's just being modest. And often it's being disingenuous. Because they're using it as a way of saying, "I am not worthy of this great honor," which, look, that I'm getting. Isn't this cool? How great am I that I'm getting this great honor? But actually, Wayne and Garth were really serious in believing that they were not worthy, as was, apparently, the centurion in today's gospel reading. This story begins with a really odd situation in which Jewish elders come to Jesus and they ask for a favor for a hated Roman enemy. And because this is such a bizarre situation, the elders begin by telling Jesus how, in this particular situation, this Roman centurion actually is worthy of Jesus doing this favor for him. And as they describe the Roman centurion, they start to describe his worthiness. And they use the kind of description that all of us have probably used about ourselves or other people when we think that we or others are worthy. They say that the centurion is worthy because of what he's done in the past. Here is this guy, he built our synagogue for us. This is a big deal because it's a large project, it's expensive, and an enemy and a pagan has done this for you. This is great. Look at what he's done and accomplished in the past. Jesus, he's worthy because of who he was back then. But they also say, you know, he's worthy because of who he is right now. He loves our people. He's really a good guy. This is one of the good Romans. He actually cares about us. He's worthy of it because of the quality of his character. And they don't actually say this, but they imply it. He's worthy because of the potential he has for the future. Because here's the deal. If you are under occupation from a foreign country, and the guy who's kind of the military representative of the occupying force turns out to be kind of a good guy who's been nice to you and everything, you know, you want to keep the guy happy. You don't want to tick him off. You don't want to get him to the point where he asks for a transfer. Jesus, please don't mess this up for us. We've had a pretty good deal here. He has potential in the future, and that is what makes him So the interesting thing here is that Jesus does not comment at all on whether he thinks the guy is actually worthy or not. But he does go with these folks, and he goes towards the centurion's home. But then on the way, the centurion's friends meet him and tell him that the centurion has sent word to him that he believes that he, the centurion, is really, truly not in any way, shape, or form worthy. I am not worthy, he says, to even have you come under the roof of my house. And he's totally serious about it. I'm not worthy. But that's perfectly okay, says the centurion. And this is not just because he believes that Jesus has the power to heal his slave from a distance, or because he believes that Jesus' word alone can take care of everything. What's really different is that this centurion actually believes that Jesus will help him, in spite of the fact that he isn't worthy. And this is the thing that totally astounds Jesus. Jesus turns around and he says, I tell you, even in Israel, I haven't found such faith like this. And the faith that Jesus is talking about isn't trust in Jesus' power or confidence in Jesus' ability to kind of work remotely. Instead, this faith is confidence, even by a pagan, that Jesus' love and power will be poured out on him, even though he is completely not worthy. Trusting in God's love and power without any sense of worthiness on your part. It seems like that would be an easy thing to do, but it's not. It is really, really hard, because lots of people who say, yes, of course, I am not totally worthy of this honor or something like that, really deep down in their hearts, and I know I feel like this sometimes too, go, yeah, but I'm not totally worthy of this, but I'm a little bit worthy, probably, right? I mean, I'm more worthy than some other people, and so I've got this idea in my head that a little bit of why God would help me is based on my own sense of being at least a little bit worthy. After all, we live in a world, and people have always lived in a world like this, in which we're kind of told that it is unnatural not to speak of your own worthiness. And often you got to do that. We have just reached the point now, we are in the season of graduations, and people are graduating, applying to go to college, they are writing resumes, and nobody, and you shouldn't, nobody writes on their resume or on their college application, I am not worthy, right? You want to tell people why you're worthy, and we tell people about our own worthiness in the same ways that the Jewish elders spoke of the centurion. We think about and we talk about how we are worthy because of what we've accomplished in the past. Look at my past job accomplishments, or at least look at my grades. Look how I've been able to do things in the past. Look at the honors I've been given. I am worthy because of the things that I have done. Or we say, hey, I am worthy because of who I am, the quality of my character, just like the Jewish elders did with the Roman centurion. I really love people. I'm helpful and things like that. I have learned over the years, I've had to do a number of job references for people, and I've had to ask for job references for people, and one of the things you learn if you've been in that kind of position is some of the best things you can say about people is not the accomplishments they've had in your job or what you think about the future. The best things you can say are things like, you know what? This person shows up when we're supposed to show up. They do what I ask them to do, and they cooperate and play nice with other people. You can find those things in a person, you can teach them to do anything. And that's a quality of character that makes you worthy of being given a chance in a job. That's usually also how we think about our own sense of worthiness. But then we also think about our worthiness in a sense of what we have the potential to do in the future. We even end up doing this with God, and just so you think it's not just us or some bad people, the psalmist is great for this kind of stuff. One of my favorite lines from Psalm 30. This is a psalm where the guy is talking to God about how he feels like he's being beat him up, he's going to die, and he wants God not to let him die. So this is what he says. He says, God, what profit is there in my death if I go down to the pit? Will the dust praise you? Will it tell of your faithfulness? I mean, consider, God, how much more praise could I give you in the next few years if you let me live? I have potential, and so often, that's the way we think, even in our relationship with God. There's some sense of worthiness, either because of what we've done, who we are, or what we have the potential to do, that we think that is why God is going to help us. In our daily life and work, that is how our lives work. So many times we really do have to promote our own worthiness. So really, do not go home and write on your resume or on your college application, I'm not worthy. Don't do that, not a good strategy. But it also means that it can be really hard to transcend that sense of worthiness when we think about our relationship with God. Somehow, the centurion was able to do it, at least for that one moment. And it's important for us too. Transcending our own sense of worthiness in our relationship with God is important because it helps us to focus on God instead of on ourselves. Transcending our sense of worthiness helps us to appreciate the magnitude and the fullness of God's love, which we can never fully appreciate if in the back of our minds we're thinking, yeah, but I'm just a little bit worthy, right? And maybe most importantly, transcending our own sense of worthiness enables us to appreciate God's love for other people and to be able to share God's love with others, even and especially when we're not sure whether other people are worthy.